Hello?
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. Great. Exciting. There we go. Okay, you're ready to go, Chris. It's all yours.
Great. Well, hello, everyone, and thank you, Neil, for inviting us out to share some information about our quite young company. We are listed, as it says, on the CSE under the symbol DIGI, and very limited trading on OTC at the moment. We've been listed for a little over 2 years, or actually just 2 years this month now that I think about it. And we created the company to look at sort of two areas of the financial industry. One, what was happening with all things related to sort of cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and the other sort of related to blockchain, which is digital securities, and how we've evolved and how the market has evolved, because no one was exactly sure. Is there's little doubt that there's a high degree of interest in cryptocurrency today and blockchain for sure, but the idea of digital securities taking over from common shares hasn't been as fast to take off. So we made a bit of a pivot change in the past sort of 8 months of our company, and we looked at, how do we figure out where things are going? And we did a partnership, actually an acquisition of an artificial intelligence company called DataNavi back in September. And from there, we really have just taken right off. They had some wonderful technology that takes big data from public databases all around the world, as well as certain private databases when that's prearranged. And by taking all that data in, they can develop algorithms that frankly predict what's going to happen next in different markets. We have two products in the market right now. One is cryptocurrency related, and one is really human capital related, both of which I'll give a quick description of. And the good news is we are earning revenue on both of them as of this month. And that's really what our big sort of forte is as a company. There are a number of really cool artificial intelligence companies out there doing great things, but they're perfecting everything, and they really haven't got that revenue equation figured out. And we are just starting what we think will be explosive revenue on these two fronts, and we're going to be bringing other projects to market. As a company, even though it's one of my last slides, we're very well capitalized. We just completed a $5.5 million private placement, or $5.1 million private placement. That leaves us with about $7.5 million in cash as a small company right now, but our burn is less, or about $1 million a year. So we've got multiple years of cash based on our current activities, and we're starting to earn revenue. So we're not positive cash flow yet, but we think we very likely will be before the end of this year. So as far as where we are as a company, we don't see any new private placements coming up for quite some time to come. So what we're doing is we're taking this idea of artificial intelligence, and from people that are in the company of DataNavi that we acquired, what we got was a half a dozen engineers who have 15 years in this industry, who have all worked for Fortune 30 size companies, because that's where artificial intelligence was really born, and it was super expensive. A company could expect to spend upwards of $1 billion to try to develop useful information on a predictive basis, to be able to use. And that's why it was kind of limited to the Fortune 30 sized companies for many, many years. As that has evolved, and particularly as this company DataNavi evolved, what we were able to do is work with them to bring the cost down on a per user basis and start to build out applications that can be used by small and medium enterprises, of which there are millions around the world, as well as individuals. And in the investor world, we estimate that there could be hundreds of millions of potential users of our products. And by doing that, we can reduce our cost of using that information dramatically, and make the very, very effective use of machine learning and artificial intelligence available to much smaller financial players, but on a much wider scale. I'm going to speak to machine learning real quick as it relates to artificial intelligence. And we all kind of remember what we did yesterday, or what we might have learned yesterday, and a little bit from last week, and even a little bit from the year before. But over time, we tend to forget our lessons and forget the details, but we do get better at learning new stuff tomorrow. The beauty of machine learning and what the basis for what artificial intelligence is that machines never forget what they learned a year ago or 5 years ago as they go into data. But as you layer in new and new variables, newer and newer variables, it can take the old variables that it doesn't forget and the newer ones and make better and better predictions. And this is what we're doing. And that's what artificial intelligence is. And it is what we are doing as a group of programmers. So that's how it works. And now we can talk about the couple of applications that we're going into. The first sort of really big one right now is what we call Crypto Divine. This product was introduced to the market February 24th. On our first day, it's a subscription-based model. On our first day, we had about 650 people subscribe, and we did what we called a soft launch. We let our investor world know through a press release that it was being launched, and it's only next week that we're going to start our global marketing of this application. And what it does is it looks at the price primarily of Bitcoin and Ethereum and predicts when a price trend is going to be changing. And what this program has really proven to be unbelievably good at is, and for anybody who knows anything about crypto prices, it's scary because it's very, very volatile. And for any price change sort of greater than 5%, which can sometimes happen in a matter of a couple of hours, we have been exactly on the right side of predicting those price change movements. Even when some of them are violent and sudden, we seem to be absolutely on the right side of those trades. And so for somebody who's interested in crypto, maybe doesn't know a lot about it, but wants to start putting it into their portfolio, this is an application that can be super, super helpful. And it is, as I mentioned, available on a subscription basis. I had other people from who really follow crypto a lot bring some numbers to me and say, well, pick a number as to how many investors there are in the world interested in crypto, or not interested in crypto, but who have portfolios. And with 7.5 billion people in the world, people estimate that maybe 500 million people actually have some sort of investment portfolio. So that's 500 million people. Well, we know kind of that among all investors, barely 10% have ever even dabbled in crypto, or 90% have not believed in it. I would count myself among those up until a couple of years ago, or certainly didn't understand it. And frankly, I'd count myself among those up until a few months ago. And so we didn't really pay much attention. But as this thing has crept up, as larger and larger organizations like PayPal and more recently MasterCard and Visa have said that they're going to start finding ways for their users of their products to also engage with cryptocurrency, it is entering the mainstream, and it's time that all of us kind of need to understand it a little bit. And this is what we're bringing. We're bringing an educational tool and a trading tool for all of those investors. So if we go back to that math, 90% of the 500 million people around the world with a portfolio, that's 450 million potential users. Do I think we're going to get that? No, not even close. But as we've launched this thing at a price of $29.95 a month now, all US, and going to $99.95 a month after May, when all of the little updates that we're expecting will be complete, what kind of a tool is it? Well, in the time from February 24th to today, where are we at, March 9th, we have several users who've told us that even just investing a few $1,000s and following the indicators on this thing, they have made several $1,000s. And by doing that, they're looking at and saying $30 a month or $100 a month. I mean, my God, I just want this thing beside me. We have more sophisticated users who kind of do follow crypto already and have already been trading and say it's a great tool to have at their side just to kind of help confirm maybe some things they already think. And so what percentage of a market share do I think we can grab with this thing? I don't know. But in our original goal, if we could get 10,000 subscribers, that was going to be great. We've kind of increased that goal to probably around 100,000 subscribers we're hoping for by the end of this year. And I've had people come and tell me that if we're not, if we don't have 1 million subscribers in a year, we're not doing our jobs right. So who knows? It is early stages, and that makes, guessing the future in terms of how many subscribers we're going to have, let alone the price of crypto, a little bit difficult. But that's where we find ourselves today. And we did spend the first 10 days after we launched tweaking everything, but we're getting rave reviews from our investors and believing that this thing can be a great success in the market. So that's kind of what Crypto Divine is all about. It's available at that website that's showing, I don't know if you can see my cursor, at cryptodivine.ai, and it's worth taking a look at. There's a 7-day free trial, and it's something that works quite well. We're about to load in instructional videos, both about crypto in general, as well as how to use the app better. And when we go to do our global launch next week, it'll have an even better look than it does today. But so far, so good. Just kind of skipping through all that. The next market application is one of human capital. The first one we sort of call our financial capital. This next one is human capital, and something that the company that we bought, DataNavi, had been working on for a long time, and they had partnered with a U.S. company called Darwin Ecosystem, which we ended up buying also in December. For a young company to be making these acquisitions was a bit of a tall leap, but we've had great success with it, and we acquired not only great technology but also some really, really good people along the way. And what the sort of predictive personality indicator, or PPI, this second application does, is it allows people that are hiring, and specifically these guys have been working with police forces and security forces around North America. It allows a personality sort of prediction to be made on people without them even filling out any kind of questionnaire. And one of the problems with questionnaires is that they're full of bias, because people who want to get hired tend to put in the answers they think are going to be deemed as right, as opposed to really talking about who they are. And police forces in general have a real problem, as we've all been witnessing in the media the last year and a half, with finding the right balance between people who are obviously strong-willed and can manage themselves out in the community, but also have enough compassion to be able to kind of do the job in the community properly. And as a result, this thing has become very popular. It's being used today by 17 police forces around North America, and over the course of the next several months, we think it's going to be taken up by a lot more. And that in itself can generate a really, really healthy revenue for our company. But as we've been working with our partners, one of which is IBM Watson, and IBM Watson is really the think tank inside of IBM, they've been looking at what we do and absolutely love it. And they think that it can be used by a lot more than just police forces, and frankly, some of their largest clients around the world. They're always looking for ways to improve partnerships, and they're starting to introduce us to some of the largest companies in the world, but believing that this is a tool that most of those companies could use in a big way. So there's a tremendous amount of growth opportunity in this application as well. And so both of those are in revenue, as I mentioned. They're going to contribute to hopefully what is a positive EBITDA run rate by the end of this year. And they're just two of the many applications that we think we can bring to market using this AI. I guess just a quick description about the way our company operates. We have, through our acquisition of DataNavi, what we call the AI engine. We have anywhere from 10 to 15 programmers, depending on what they're working on, constantly updating that machine learning, constantly finding new databases to gather information from, and building out basic predictive algorithms for our applications. And then when we decide on an application, like the two that I've described, we only need 2 or 3 other programmers, as well as sort of marketing people, a couple marketing people, to go out and bring a new revenue source and a new application to the market. And so what we've been working on behind the scenes is 2 more applications that frankly could be just as large as these two, especially the cryptocurrency one, which frankly, I mean, if we did even 100,000 subscribers at $100 a month, it's $10 million a month of gross revenue. And of course, the margins and things like this are very, very high. But if we can bring out 2 more of those types of applications over the next year, we really are going to become a significant company. And we believe that we do have market applications. The 3rd and 4th one have nothing to do with cryptocurrency at all. One is sort of financial and one is environmental, but we are going to be able to use this engine to continually bring out things that the mass market can really make good, positive, and frankly, profitable use of. So that's what we're doing as a company. We're very excited about it. We've got great people. Our new CTO came out of our acquisition from Darwin Ecosystems. He had 10 years at IBM with the IBM Watson people. We've got some great programmers from different parts of the world all working on our team. And myself, I've got about 30 years experience in public companies, taking brand new technologies, historically manufacturing technologies, and bringing them up to scale and raising a lot of capital behind them and building out great public companies. So we're very excited about this. I didn't want to walk you through all of the words. We've been using a what we call a scroll for our PowerPoint. So this was just kind of put together, and our guys made it a bit wordy, and I'm not going to walk everybody through it at the moment, but I've been describing it. But I would encourage you to look at digimaxai.com if you want to see a bit better presentation of all of this. So where we're going is to continually over successive years to continue to introduce more and more of these applications, and in doing so continue to grow both our top line of sales and our EBITDA line. We're looking at potentially a couple of additional acquisitions, small companies where there's a very, very niche opportunity that could be additive to the things that we're already doing. But we're a company that does have a fair number of shares out, and I'll get to that in a second, but really doesn't need to print more shares. And as long as our revenue is growing and our EBITDA is growing, I think that we can expect really, really good things going forward. This idea that artificial intelligence stock leading the new wave, we are getting a lot of positive reception because there are a ton of AI companies out there, but there aren't a lot who are doing it at the kind of level, the market level of small, medium-sized companies, as well as individuals. And I think we really have found a great niche for ourselves. I don't know if that can be seen or not, but this is actually from the end of the year. A lot of our warrants were all in the money. So we're actually now outstanding after our recent raise. We have about 225 million shares outstanding, which for a company our size arguably is a bit large, we know, but we also see generating tens of millions of dollars by the end of the next 12 months. So we're hopeful that that's not going to hinder us too much, as well as our ability to continue to grow at this stage without having to print any more shares. So we're feeling pretty good about that. I mentioned a little bit about my own background. I've been doing business both in Canada and the US, originally Canadian, but most of my career has been spent out of the US and working with US companies. I've been involved in bringing companies public both in New York and in Toronto, raised about $500 million for these companies over the years. And I think that while I've had a couple of pretty nice successes with what we've done in the past, I don't think I've ever seen anything that has as much opportunity as this company does. So we're pretty excited about that. I mentioned Thierry, who is originally out of the IBM Watson Group, and he was the co-founder of the second company that we bought, Darwin Ecosystem. Just a super guy, down to earth, and really understands how also to bring great technology to market. It's one thing to be able to build great technology. It's another thing to monetize it. And that's something the two of us are working on extremely hard. We got a great CFO, and we got some other people that are inside of the tech space from Data Navi who have built their own great backgrounds as well. And I think it just gives us a depth as a team. For the size of a company we are, it's actually remarkable how many great people we have. So we're in good shape, with all the things that we're doing. I think that people are paying attention. Our partnership with IBM Watson is incredible. We talk to them several times a week. Not to put IBM down for 1 second. I mean, what that company's done obviously is huge, and the people belong there is huge. But there is a little frustration, I think, on their part sometimes that they're not able to take some of the products that they've come up with to market as quickly as they would like. And I think that the partnership that we have with IBM Watson can grow really, really quite quickly and very positively for both companies. So we're feeling excited about that. So that's where we're at. We're excited about the stage we're at. We're early stage, but we're also looking at a very exciting and formidable future where we're in revenue already. So feeling good. So I think I'll end it there. And it looks like we've got a few questions lining up. So I might see if I can answer a few of them.
Yeah, I was just trying to go over the questions here, Chris, and delete the ones from previous, as I can't sort these. But excellent presentation. Thank you very much. I'll have to listen.
I wanted to keep it quick.
Yeah, can you just give that app address again out? If you could type it into the chat, that would be excellent.
Sure. It's really, so I'll type it in here. It's Crypto Divine. I typed it correctly. .ai is all you need to type in. You can put the www in front. And if you want to see a bit better scroll about our company, ours is DigiMax.
Yeah, I put that in right before your app address. Fantastic. Okay.
I don't think it's not digi.digimax.ai. I think it's just this one, but digimax.ai. So.
Oh, okay, perfect. Great. Let's just jump over to the question tab. We'll see if we have any questions.
Yeah, they all disappeared. In any event, I think that where we're at is there's a number of forums out there. If you're interested in this, on different places built up now on Facebook. Twitter's got one going about the people who are using our system, especially on the crypto, and we're hoping that that's going to go from a few hundred to several thousand over the next little while. But it's an exciting thing to watch. It's exciting to kind of watch it and learn, and then we're going to be able to help people learn to actually start trading. But you don't need much to trade, and because of the information that this gives, it's incredible how quickly you can get a positive return. And hopefully we can help people get their feet wet in crypto if that's an area that they have of interest.
I'm looking forward to seeing how the app performs. Now, what is your marketing, your plan for to market and advertise the app? Is that on the social media channels you just mentioned, or?
It's going to layer out over the next couple of months. It will start definitely through the social media channels that we're familiar with. Both through things like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. There's a whole Reddit community that's paying really massive attention to this already. A lot of the Robinhood forums are talking about what we're doing and how that they can interact with this. There are also a number of people who have built up big names for themselves in the crypto world, and now that they're starting to understand it, they're looking to get involved with us. And then finally, we are not a trading platform. We're simply offering advice as to when we predict the price trends to change. And so there are a number of partnership opportunities with trading platforms that exist around the world. And you'll start to see some more news coming out about those over the next few weeks, 2 to 3 months kind of thing. So there are a lot of huge sort of new catalysts coming along to sort of increase the value of this company just within this one vertical of our cryptocurrency app. There's a lot of new news coming on the personality interpreter as well. And then we've got a couple of new applications coming. So there's a lot of different ways that this company will be growing over the next few quarters.
You have to get Elon Musk as your ambassador.
Well, it was funny. He predicted, or not predicted, but the news came out on a Sunday morning when he made his big investment. I think it was $1.5 billion into crypto. And I woke up to that news. I hadn't even looked at our app. It was still in trial mode at that time. And sure enough, 3 hours before that news came out, we had a big green arrow saying it's time to buy crypto again. So the price of Bitcoin went up about 15% in the next 36 hours. And our app was there saying you want to be long. And so that was a good thing to see. And then interestingly, out of that 15%, our green arrow to our red arrow when it came time to sell, we picked up about 75% of that move, which was substantial. And then sure enough, the thing dropped right back down over the next couple of days. So if you'd traded just based on that one trade, you would have made 20% on your original investment just those days. So, or maybe, 20%, whatever it was, 21% or something like that. So, and that's been done repeatedly, week after week, it seems. So yeah, we feel pretty good about that.
That's awesome. That's excellent. It doesn't look like we have any. Oh, there's one question just popped up when I was about to say. Can you see it right there, Chris?
Yeah, on the buy versus sell side, percentage-wise. Well, as I just mentioned, and if this is an answer to your question, if you go on, you'll see the way this works. But we actually just pop up a green arrow when there's a recommendation and the AI is predicting that we're going to see a price move north, and a red arrow will come up if we're predicting a substantial price move south. We're suggesting for most novice investors that you find a good trading platform and you go long or you go out. There are some places where you can go short as well, but just by following those indicators, the answer to the question on a percentage basis is we've been grabbing anywhere from sort of 50 to 75% of the trough to the peak on the buy side, and similar percentages from the peak down to the trough on big movements. It's tough on the 1% to 3% movements, especially if you have any transaction cost. That little bit of tiny oscillating, it's tough to make money at. But if you're in there and breaking even on smaller trades or smaller movements, it always is going to leave you in the right place when we get a big movement. And we saw one this weekend. We saw the price of crypto rise, or the price of Bitcoin rise by about 15%. I think Ethereum ran up about 20%, and our arrows grabbed like 85% of those price movements in terms of their recommendations. So it's been proven pretty accurate so far. I don't know if that answers your question, but hopefully it does.
It's exciting. I'm really excited for next week for you.
Yeah, well, it's a small iterative process. We start our global marketing campaign next week. I don't predict we're going to have 10,000 users in that first week, but if we can start grabbing 100 here and a few hundred there or whatever, it certainly is going to increase the value of the company, and we are excited about the launch, to be sure.
Great. Okay, let's wrap that. Let's wrap it up for now. It doesn't look like any remaining questions are coming in. Thank you for the presentation, Chris.
No problem.
Awesome. It will be available for anyone that missed it by tomorrow, and we'll go from there, and we'll have you out again. I know this is one of Bruce's top picks, so we were happy to have you on. And thank you for everybody for tuning in, and thank you again, Chris.
Okay, early days, but thank you for those who are left. Take care. Thanks, Neil. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for everybody joining us today. Thank you to all of our presenters, and especially Bruce Campbell. And have a great day, and we'll see you soon.